Morning, guys. I had two basic things I wanted to talk about this morning. The second part will be at the end of this, and it's about the watercolor pencils and little drawings that I'm doing. I know not everybody follows me everywhere, and most of them have already been posted on Facebook and Instagram, but so many people have asked me about them, and not everybody, follows me everywhere, so I wanted to talk about them. And also, my setup. My setup's been pretty consistent, I would say, and there's something kind of settling and settled feeling about that. I spent a lot of time trying to find, one brand that I could stick with. And, I do different things with different inserts. So I've just decided to go with what works most of the time individually, because I use basically two pens. I use the Pilot Juice pen in .07 in gray, and I use this one as a highlighter, and pretty much I just use those colors. Now this has a window that's supposed to make it easier for highlighting, and I first got this probably at least a year ago. This is my second one, and I found it a little difficult to get used to because if you push on a highlighter, most of them you'll get a straight line because the tip is kind of porous. This tip is a little bit more rigid, so you have to be a little bit more, you have to pay attention a little bit more to what you're doing, if you don't want a wiggly line. It's an angle thing. But for me, this is the highlighter that works best in general on planner papers, because of all the ones I tried, this is the driest highlighter and the least likely to show through the back on any paper. Some of them are just too wet, some of them are just too dark, but this one seems to be the best highlighter that I've found on the whole range of papers that I've tried. Do I ever want other colors? Yes. Do I ever use other colors? Yes. But like with the inserts, I'm trying to find what works for me most of the time. Because I think I could have looked forever to find the exact right whole, brand of paper. I keep more than one in here because there are things that I do that I need to know the next year. There are things that I buy that I need warranty dates for. There are things that I want to remember, like my vitamin D level, which is low again. So I'm having to take vitamin D, and so I know when it was low before, I know how long it took to get back up, I know when I have to have lab work again. So this is actually 2012, this is 2012, this is the Dodo yearly insert. This is 2013. This is 2014. The lines sort of lend themselves to one thing, but on days where there's more than one thing, I just use a post-it arrow. I have the 2014 Ordning and Rita calendar, and I think I have the Oh, I have another one because I have the Swedish version and I have the English version, and I also have somewhere, I think, the Gillio ones, and I think I'm going to use these for different things. I've started to use one of them for the books I read, so I'm putting when I finished and when I started, or just when I finished, I can't remember. I want to sort of cross off days that, you know, worked well for me on my diet. So these things, I think, can be used if you have multiples of them for tracking, you know, things you want to, if you want to work out every day, if you want to drink water every day, if you want to write how many times you, did I say exercise? Yeah. How many days you were successful on your diet. So I really like these a lot. They're sort of like an overview planner, but my absolute favorite one, hands down, is the Filofax one. As for the monthlies, I really like the Ordning and Rita month on 2 pages because of the kind of artwork I'm doing. I've never really used one of these, and if I wasn't doing this, I probably wouldn't be using these. This is sort of an add-on for me. It's not part of my planning. It's part of my, you know, my creative life. My favorite week on 2 pages is the Ordning and Rita. I like the lines. I like that they're ivory as opposed to bright white. I like that there's some space at the top that I can be creative about, and they take, you know, watercolor really well. For these, now in between the week on 2 pages, I use however many sheets I need to get through my week. I just start the next day after the, like this was February 14th, and I didn't do anything again until February 17th, because now I'm doing my meal planning. I just put a line down here because I don't usually use these, so I just separate the day space and do my meal planning over here. But I really like the Gillio pages. They're a little bit more creamier than the Ordning and Rita pages. I think they're more along the lines of the Cotton Cream, which are not in A5 size. And there's such a nice variety. There is graph. Let me see if I can find some. There is a sheet with times. There is a blank sheet with notes. There is an idea sheet with little check marks. I know I put some more in here, but I don't know where they are. The nice thing about them is they come as a set, so you don't have to buy just graph or just notes or just contacts. I mean, they come as a complete set, so you would have to buy the, I believe, you know what, I'm not 100% sure whether you have to buy the dates or you can just buy the extra pages. For some reason I'm thinking you can just buy the extra pages. But I'm not 100% sure. I also like the tabs a lot on the Gillio. They've become, I put them all in, I almost never use dividers. I also had the top tabs on and I was using them, but what I realized is, you know, when I'm trying to find something, I have to like pick it, you know, with an A5 you really have to pick it up and look at the top tabs, and I mean, why? If I can put bottom tabs on. So I made little bottom tabs with these little post-its, and these are my meal ideas because I have a bunch of simple meals that I make, and then when I'm trying to think of something to cook, I can't think of anything but ordering a pizza. So I put a little page with a little meal ideas tab. I want to do some soul searching and improvement, and so I put a little tab down here that said change, and wrote down what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do, what I want to do. You know, it's sort of a loose thing. And then Ventura's meds and Ventura in general. These are, I mean, these are just little post-its, so they're not structured enough that I could actually use them to turn a page, and I may or may not use something a little stiffer. At the moment, it's easy enough for me to at least sort of figure out where I'm looking, and it really, I don't know, it helps me a lot. You know, when there's a lot of pages in here. I mean, not as many as can fit, but you know, trying to look for one page with my meal ideas in here, unless I'm going to use the A to Z tabs, is kind of a pain in the neck. So I'm going to start tabbing these pages. The ones that I've tabbed, also the book one I think I tabbed actually on the top, but I think I'm going to move it. Yep, I made a book list tab, and like I said, I'm using one of the week on here on a page. Here it is. So I've already started with the books I read. It looks like I'm just writing when I complete them. So I guess that's really it. I mean, nothing overall has changed that much, but I've just sort of come to the conclusion that I'm going to have to find the right insert and right paper for each task. It's not going to be, you know, a whole line, and it's also not going to work perfectly every time. I mean, nothing, I think I drove myself crazy looking for the perfect setup and the perfect paper, and you know, somehow I needed them all. You know, I needed, when I switched out something that wasn't working, I switched out all the Filofax paper to Ordning and Rita, or all the Ordning and Rita paper to the Tilio. But what I realized is, you know, I never switch out these because these are perfect. And it got me thinking that, well, maybe certain things are going to be more perfect than others, and I should just go with that. It'll make me happier in the long run, even though it's a little OCD inducing to have different, you know, everything varies a little bit in size. But honestly, having everything work is better than having everything the same, for me anyway. And so I'm going to move on to the artwork stuff. Wanted to separate that out because I know not everybody is interested in that. And I'll be back in a second. So many people have asked me about the artwork that I'm doing on the week and 2 pages, about the pencils, about the paper, and so I thought I would show something. It all started when I was marking off this calendar, and I was so excited to get to the end of the year and to complete checking off all the pages. And then when I was done, all I had was a year calendar with highlighted pages, and it seemed kind of like I really hadn't accomplished that much. So I wanted to do something else that I could look back on and feel a little bit more accomplished about, but still in the same vein. So I started to do little watercolors on my Ordning and Rita 2-page per month. And I know a lot of people have seen these because I post pictures on Facebook and Instagram. There has been a lot of snow, so there are a lot of little baby pictures of snow. And I don't do one every day, and sometimes I put stamps, postage stamps on. Sometimes I decorate the top, sometimes not. But I've had so many questions about it, I wanted to talk about it a little. This is January. And I just got sick of doing snow in January, so I kind of bailed on the rest of that month. And here's February. I started with some herbs because it seemed cheery and something growing, I don't know. And Super Bowl, snow, lots of snow. I had my eyes checked. It was very cold. Snow, Valentine's Day, snow, cold, snow, and today is raining. But I wanted to show what I was using, and this is actually just gel pen. This was the week of Valentine's Day. So I use different things. I use whatever works for me. But this was one set. I redid this because I thought I did it wrong, but I think it's the pencils actually. So the top here, these two are Staedtler. I think they're called Ergo Soft. And I used a blue, a yellow, and a green. And these are Faber-Castell, and I used some similar colors. Initially these seemed to go on better and creamier, maybe. It felt creamier, whereas some of these felt a little scratchy when I was drawing. And I didn't like these, but I have more colors of this, so I do tend to use this, and over time laying on color is just easier and they don't feel as scratchy to me. So I don't know if there's initially a coating or something on it, but the top two are the Staedtler pencils, and what I did is I did the blue, the green, and the yellow, and then I watercolored over the yellow, the green, and the blue. And you can see the yellows are very similar, but then it gets a little muddled. It seems like the Faber-Castell holds its color. The paper holds the color when you add the water a little bit better. Most of the drawings I did were actually with these, but there was a lot of reworking, particularly on the skies, and I'm sure that has to do with, I don't know, I mean, the pigment just doesn't attach to the paper as well as it does here, even though you can get the same results. This was definitely easier. I mean, this was like one pass. The other colors that I did were a pink and orange and a different yellow. And these are the Staedtlers. These are the Faber-Castell. And the colors are very similar. And I had a lot more success doing these. They were very similar after putting water on. Now, I don't use this yellow much. I don't know if you'll be able to see or not. But there are some indents in the paper where the pencil point was scratchier. So I think it would depend on your preference. Both of these companies make watercolor and non-watercolor pencils, so if you want to try these and you want to try them with watercolor, make sure that you're getting the watercolor version. You can see some wrinkling through the back, but you really don't see the color through it very much. A cherry blossom. I did that yesterday. If you want to use these on watercolor, I'm sure they would both work fine. If you're trying to use them on planner paper, the Ordning and Rita paper really is the best one and the hardest to find. I got some MS pages because I thought these would really be great to decorate. They didn't turn out to be as good for watercolor as I hoped. There's a lot of wrinkling. The page doesn't have as much tooth, as the Ordning and Rita paper. So while it would be great for drawing or decorating or maybe stamping, probably stamping, it didn't work for watercolor. But excuse me, I do like the clean design very much. You could really do whatever you wanted to these, make them really, really personal. And I also got the Week on 2 pages. They have a couple of different versions, but the ones I got had lines down this side, and the middle was totally blank. The paper is 100 pound, I think, so it holds up really well to ink. I mean, as you can see, you do see wrinkling from the water, but you don't see any paint through it. I haven't done a pen test, but I expect that it will do well with pens as well as the Ordning and Rita paper. And these are white and clean and really nice. I could see these suiting a lot of people. I mean, not everybody likes the the off-white paper. A lot of people like bright white, and this is really nice. The brush that I'm using for these is I'll put a link at the bottom because I can't remember the brand, but it's from Jet Pens. You store the water in here, and then you put the cap on, and you're ready to go. See, and that's how it works. It's very easy. They have different sizes, different size brushes. They have a large brush. This is the small brush, I believe. And then they also have different sizes of these. They have a little petite one that comes with a little water bottle. That wasn't as good for, like I just keep the water in here, and when I go to use it, I use it. With the little petite one with the water bottle, you really have to keep the water in the bottle. I just like these better. I like the way they work. I like the mechanism, and it's a little bit different on the one with the bottle. This is my favorite one because I'm doing small drawings, but I also have one with a bigger brush. You can see it's much bigger. The thing about the bigger brush though, and I'm not sure you're going to be able to see that, there's little bristles that have come out because when I put the cap on, the brush I think was a little wide for the cap. Let's see if there's a better place to show you. Maybe on black. Yeah. Okay, you can see it. It's just all wild. It doesn't interfere with doing the artwork. I just need to clip off these extra bristles. But since this one is so small, I don't have any issue with that at all. On a big painting, this would just be too small. But yeah, that sort of bugs me. So I will put a link there, and I guess that's it for today. If you have any other questions, any specific questions, a lot of people have asked me about art tutorials, but I really don't think I could do that. I mean, I'm not sure I could show what I'm doing because I'm kind of winging it. I'm not really an artist. You know, I can't really explain why I do what I do and the artistic rationale behind everything. But there are a lot of tutorials if you search them on YouTube. I just don't think I could, you know, do it justice. So we're just hanging out today. This is the calm between the storm here because it's, I don't know if you can tell how gray it is, but it's gray and it's raining, which is a huge improvement over snowing, but it's also thundering. So he was just up and pacing, and I put his bed in the closet so he can go lay in the closet because that's what he does when it thunders. And so I hope this helps. I'm going to put some links at the bottom. I got my watercolor pencils at Amazon and my watercolor brushes at Jet Pens, and I will link them below. And if anybody has any questions, please let me know. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching.